Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the Invictus Racing League IRL F1 League. It's Monday night, which means it's Gareth and Sab in the commentary box. How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yourself? It should be a good evening tonight. It's Abu Dhabi, as you can see. Night racing around here. It's not one track that's appeared that often as it on our calendar, but it sometimes brings some good racing. And what a contrast it is compared to last week. So the tight, twisty, always corners of Suzuka, where it's a challenge to get past your drivers. Tonight we might have a bit more opportunity for overtakes, more daring late breakers and stuff like that. But overall, I think last week with Gamer winning, I thought we had some good overtakes, especially from Harry, who certainly impressed last week, coming home in second.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a lovely double podium for the start of the season for the Williams team, Boy Ben OSB and Harry, but it was Gamer that took the hat trick, the triple header. He took pole, the race win, and even snatched the fastest lap on the last lap of the race to show just how dominant he was. And but yeah, you look back and you see Harry did very nicely indeed. Scott will be delighted to be back on the podium, and of course you can't call the bluff of the likes of Jumperline and Hercules, who finished in fourth and fifth. Those guys will be wanting to get a decent result tonight here, and yeah, so welcome guys. And we'd just like to say before we get started with the stream, before we kick it off, thank you so much for last week's view rate. We had our biggest race ever, a massive 360 at the time of video views on last week's race, and it was so cool to see. Yeah, really hope you enjoyed it, and of course we'll be bringing you continuing content all the way through this troubling time. And if we can bring you a little bit of comic relief and a little bit of fantastic on-track action to make everything a little bit better after everyone's stuck inside all day, hopefully we can do that for you. And of course you can find that every Monday night here with Gareth and Sab in the commentary box, and of course Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, and now Sunday nights on the Xbox we all go racing. So plenty of action for you guys across the entire week. If I sound a little bit different tonight, hopefully I've got a much improved mic setup, so hopefully no audio dropouts. But do let me know if there's anything else that you can hear, anything else you want to know or talk about. That's always good to hear you guys chatting in the comments, and always good to see you lot getting engaged with us and the league. And Sab, we look at tonight, and as you mentioned before, the likes of Gamer, Harry, doing very well last week. But who's potentially some of the drivers that we didn't see maybe have the best of starts last week, but it could potentially cause a shock this week in Abu Dhabi?
Well, for one, I'd have to say best of starts. I would say Jumpline and Hercules, last season's champion and runner-up. They didn't have the best of starts. Yes, fourth and fifth in the end. It's not bad for some people, but we were used to them last season, wasn't we? Right at the sharp end of the grid, and they just struggled somewhat around Suzuka. But another one I'd have to say struggled as well, and we often, especially in qualifying, we have to see him right at the very front in qualifying, was the Warrislander. Warrislander, as we know, is absolutely lightning in a bottle when it comes to qualifying. You can normally expect him right at the end to pop up a time that at least puts him on the front row, and unfortunately for Warrislander, he just struggled all race, didn't he? He was in the bottom end of the points for throughout of it. So I'd be interested to see how he does tonight, how last season's champion and runner-up do tonight as well, and if Gamer can carry on this winning start to the season. But at the moment, Gamer has set that benchmark. Harry, like I mentioned, also right up there as well. Can he and his Williams teammate Scott keep this run up? And we've got other names out there as well, like Charlie, for example, who would probably expect to have done better last season. That's Hercules' teammate, and we've got others out there, Foxy Red as well, who we know can do well. So there's plenty of guys there at the moment who've got potential to step it up tonight. But as we know, it's only the second round, isn't it, of the season, so plenty to still be fighting for, and it's still way too early to write any of these drivers off at the moment.
Seemingly, the audience cannot hear you, Sab. So let's see if you could just check your settings. I'm sure everything is as usual. But yep, just before we get started, we'll make sure that everyone can hear that both commentators for the session. Nothing's changed to usual, so that's a bit strange. But we will be with you as soon as possible. But for now, hopefully you can hear me. And whilst that's going on, I'll just quickly give a rundown of the track tonight. Of course, it is the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, one of, well, if not the most expensive circuits on the planet, topping an estimated $1 billion on a purpose-built facility, man-made island. It really was a rich man's paradise of a circuit, and yeah, it's a lap length of 5.5 kilometers. That's 3.45 miles. It's a race distance here of around about, it's going to be 28 laps, I want to say. I'm not 100%. I'm going to have to check as soon as we get in. I think it is. Pole position, right hand side of the track. We've got maximum speed, guys, will be doing here is around 210 miles an hour, depending on how slippery those got those setups heading down towards the braking zone of turn 8. And it's two straights, two DRS straights on the exit of turn 7 to turn 8, and on the exit of turn 10 to turn 11. Really the two best overtaking options for these guys. Full throttle, 59% of the lap. Longest flat out section is around about 1200 meters, and that is that straight between turn 7 and turn 8. And gear changes around about 56 per lap. So these guys will be working that gear shift lever on the paddles and the back of the wheels pretty heavily over the lap distance. Of course, a lot of heavy braking zones. I was talking to Sab earlier in the day about this, and it's I've always not been a massive fan of the circuit. I feel it was drawn by a child, and it's all very short straights and very strong right and left handers. There's no real flow to the circuit. So yeah, it's a lot of sort of heavier braking, and it can be particularly tricky to keep it on track. It's a very slippery circuit, of course, in the desert, so these guys having to keep it around about on the edge of grip for the majority of the lap. Of course, the barriers in what kind of looks like, if you weren't to put it on a circuit, very much like a street circuit like vibe. It's got that very almost layout like a street circuit. So yeah, the barriers are particularly close. Not much help when it comes to slowing down, because there's so much runoff. So it's very hard to scrub off any speed if you do find yourself pointing in the wrong direction at speed. So the barriers and the Armco will appear pretty nifty and pretty quickly. So yeah, it is going to be a tricky one for these guys tonight to keep it on track, keep it out of the wall, and it looks like we're ready to go for the session. Hopefully, Sab, we've got you ready, and let's see if the guys can hear you.
I reset my headset. I don't know if there was any particular issue. I checked my settings. Hopefully everybody can hear me now, and if you could just let me know in the comments. Thankfully, it's happened before we got into the lobby, and sometimes you just get these issues, don't you? I don't quite know what the problem was there, but hopefully that has fixed, as you like you say, pointing out. We are starting to see radio. I would normally say at this point it'd be interesting to see what weather we are predicted to get, but it's the Yas Marina, and it's pretty unlikely we're going to see any rain around here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's we have seen it though. I will go back to a few seasons prior. We haven't raced at Abu Dhabi for a few seasons now, but the last time I believe we were here, and I can't remember which one it was. It will come to me at some point, but we did see light rain. So it isn't impossible to see, but of course in the middle of the desert. It is quite unlikely. You can see a couple of shots of the track there. Of course, the famous hotel, if you want to stay in that, if you've got a lot of money, that's probably the best views on the circuit. Of course, the bridge that goes over the track at the end of the lap around the third sector, and of course, you've got a couple of corners that these guys have got to keep it relatively in close quarters, especially the opening laps here, because it's very easy to run into the back of the car in front, especially while following someone close in the opening lap. So these guys got to watch out, because downforce around here crucial. As you can see, clouds overhead in qualifying, but the track is dry. These guys looking as though they're pretty happy with the track conditions, and the fans there in roaring applause for what will be a fantastic qualifying session, I'm sure. And yeah, as you said, guys, if you are watching tonight, let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for, and equally if you'd like to chat or talk about anything, let us know. It's going to be a fantastic night of racing ahead. We cannot wait to bring it to you. And so we've got a couple of cars readying up in the garage. who's going to be first one out to test the track. It looks like we've got a Ferrari of the Warrislander that's going to be peeling out, and ahead of him it looked like we saw possibly one of the Williams or Racing Points. We'll have to see. If we'd like to welcome Cliffy7765 to the league. He rejoins us after a while out, so yeah, Cliffy will be joining into the Racing Point machine, and will go on board, in fact, down with Harry. And Harry, last week's second place man, almost snatched pole position.
Whoa!
And we've got a yellow in sector 1. What's happened already?
Beck 9000 has just lost it in the tunnel coming out of the pits, and it's reset his car onto track. It nearly caused a massive pile-up. The Toro Rosso driver was sideways in the tunnel. I've never seen that before, even in real F1, and just must have got on the power tool, and the tyres being not ready for the track, and he said he was finding himself sideways. Not the best of starts there for Beck.
Nope, not at all, but the Scotsman will be hoping to possibly change a pair of overalls when he gets back to the garage, because I'm sure that would have been a bit of a nervous moment for him. But we are following with Harry around his outlap in the Williams. As I said, finished just outside of the pole position time last week. It was a fraction of a second, so he'll be looking at improving and getting onto that pole, because it was one thing that we discussed with him during the week, and it was something that he alluded to us last season, is that his qualifying time just wasn't up to scratch. And of course, towards the end of last season and now coming into this one, it seems massively improved. So Harry will be delighted with that. He'll be looking to get in a decent time. He has said that he's not particularly as happy around Abu Dhabi as maybe some of the other circuits on the calendar, but we'll see what he can do. The Rocket Williams racing car starts his flying lap, peels to the right hand side of the track, gives yourself as much amount of turn into turn 1 as you can, keeps it on the black stuff. Very easy to run out wide there, and the rumble strips here are quite aggressive, and it's very easy to get onto them, and especially in this only real sweeping section, very easy to get the car bottomed out and pointing in the wrong direction. Harry coming up to the hairpin at turn 7 for the first time, and DRS will be assisted, and this is what we saw in Japan last week, and they're going to utilise it again. The two Williams boys working together, and look at Scott giving Harry a huge tow down this long back straight, and this is going to be working wonders for him. And in fact, Scott stays ahead of him, and he's going to give him a double tow down the next DRS straight. So the two Williams drivers working together very nicely indeed. Harry will sit in the slipstream of his teammate, and I can imagine in a second Scott will peel to the side and let Harry through. There we go, very nicely done for the Williams boys. And Harry currently goes purple in sector 2. You'd expect that would be in the first driver out on track to be setting a timed lap, and in fact we'll just get the timings up for you guys so you can see what he's doing. And you can see he's now coming around to the hotel section, into turn 18 and turn 19 underneath the hotel concourse, and into the final few corners. Very easy to run out wide here at the second to last corner, turn 20, and equally turn 21, final corner, keep it off the inside line, runs out wide. Harry comes across the line, and it's a 134.2 to start off qualifying.
I'm currently on board with Jean Polainen at the moment. He is on the yellow medium tyre at the moment. He's going to cross the line now. He's going to be first guys on the medium tyre. He jumps up with a 1:35.7, so not too far off Burmeister there. Not too bad a lap as Lozak then also peels across the line with a 1:37.7 on the hard tyre. We've got a mixture at the moment as Hercules. Look, Hercules jumps right up with a 1:34.6 right behind Harry there. But Harry, once again, like last week, isn't it? Harry setting an early benchmark time, and it looks like a time that's going to be one to beat, because Hercules there, you would expect to probably go quicker tonight. So far, about 4/10 off Harry's time.
What can Charlie do? Ooh, almost loses the back end, and that's going to have cost him a little bit of time. He goes third with a 34A. He'll be annoyed of himself, because I imagine that cost him around about 0.2 of a second. We'll go on board with Gamer, and we'll see where he is on track. He's just coming up to the second to last corner. Sam does a 34.1. Great lap there from the Hash driver. Here comes Gamer. Can Gamer go to the top of the standings already? He does. It's a 34.102. So 68 thousandths of a second faster than Sam. So the guys looking already on these laps opening up the session when the track is very green, dipping into the low 34s. So I can expect to see the qualifying pole time to go well inside the 33s.
Yeah, definitely. I've just gone on board with Boy Better Know. He has invalidated his time, so he's going to cross the line now, but it's not going to be a time. On my track map here, his map is all red, and as you see, that crosses the line, no time for Boy Better Know, so work still to be done for the Williams driver as he sees his teammate currently in third.
Yep, and we'll see Boris Lander, who was delighted last week picking up 8th position on track, saying that it was one of the best 8th places he's ever had, knowing that how much the talent has increased on the grid, that he had to really work for it. He goes into 11th on a 1:36.5 on the hard tyres. So the young Dutchman just outside the top 10 on the hard tyres, so that's a good benchmark for him. He can go on to a set of softer compound, and you can see there's a number of drivers out there on track that have set their times. We've got Speed Queen, she's in the Red Bull, of course, coming up to the hotel section. And what will she do? She, of course, has got a little bit of ground to make up. She didn't have the best of seasons last year, and will be looking at improving on it this season. Of course, she teams up with Lozak97, who's done a 37.7. Speed Queen bails out of that one at the end of the lap, and we've also got the likes of, as I said, Cliffy and Scopefielder, and MJ Coops, our resident stato, said that Cliffy has the fourth overall highest win percentage with 57%, with 4 wins from 7 starts here, Invictus. So yeah, Cliffy, watch out for him, because he might be a bit of an unknown, but you never know, he might just pop up with a decent lap.
Yeah, and he's on his outlap now. He's going for his first run now. He's on the soft tyre in that Racing Point. I'm going to keep an eye on him to see how he does. See if he can get himself amongst those 5 cars at the moment to set 134. There's a real cluster, isn't there, at the moment on the 135s as well. It's really tight there from 6th down to 9th. So at the moment there's still lots of positions to be had. Jean Pelainen, last season's champion, only in 9th place at the moment after his first run, so still work to be done there for the champion at the moment, as he'll probably see the likes of Gamer right at the top as well. So Cliffy just coming across the last few corners now to start his first flying lap.
Just sitting above the helmet of Scopefield, a former multi-time champion here in Invictus, of course, and on Monday nights in the previous No Assist League, and we'll sit on board with him and see what the Swede can do. He's, of course, in his return, as he locks up into the second chicane at turn 11. That's going to scrub that lap off, and he's on the hard tyres, so he's got the option. He's got 9 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the session, so plenty of time to come back in. So what that does do is it gives us the opportunity of going on board with Cliffy, who's gone purple in Sector 1. So it's a good start for the Racing Point driver, and he's now coming onto the back straight. DRS will be enabled ever so quickly. There you go, the rear flap on that rear wing opens for the Racing Point. So he heads down the back straight, getting up to around about 205, 210 miles an hour, depending on how smooth he's got that set up and how little amount of wing he's got on it. And decent exit out of the chicane at the exit of turn 9 there, through the slight kink of turn 10, another DRS zone in towards turn 11, heavy braking zone, hard to get it locked. So we've seen Scopefield make that mistake just a moment ago. Cliffy, purple in Sector 2, this is looking a decent lap for him. Of course, he's going to be looking at beating Gamer's time of 1:34.102 and being purple in the first 2 sectors. We've got yellow in Sector 1 and Sector 2. It looks like we've got a slow Williams on track, but we'll see Cliffy coming around to the final few corners now. What can he do in his return to Invictus? The number 65 Racing Point comes around the penultimate corner into the final one. It's going to come around, come across the line. Can he get himself into provisional pole? He must have made a big mistake somewhere in the third sector.
He backed out for some reason. It's something he didn't like. Just before the hotel section, he completely backed out of the car and was short shifting all the way. So something he wasn't keen on, and it looks like to me he's going to try for another run here. It'd be interesting to see what he does now, but something wasn't quite right on that Racing Point, and he eventually backed out. So that's the reason why he's ended up down in 13th place.
Still, we've got plenty of cars now out on track, and the likes of Harry, Sam, Hercules, Charlie, Fountain, all out on fast laps. Now Gamer as well. So there's going to be, the times will be falling. You'd expect with 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the session, as Hercules is the first one to improve. He goes up into third at 34.198. So just under 200 of a second slower than Sam. So that's a great lap from Sam. Cool. Harry just about shaving the metal paint off the paint off the Armco barrier there, and you can see comes around the final corner. What can Harry do? Can he improve on fourth? It's up to provisional pole. It's a 1:34.041, so 600ths of a second faster than Gamer, but good lap there from Harry. Gamer, he's currently going 600 of a second faster himself, so that would put them almost on equal pegging. So these guys really doing nicely indeed. Sam equally going faster, so
Yes,
it is definitely ramping up.
Oh, he is. I'm riding on board with Sam, and it's been a hell of a lap so far from him. Can he improve and get right up there with Harry and even pip Harry to first place here? He's going to come round the last few corners now. What he's going to do, he's looked really fast so far tonight in that Haas car. Sam really wanted to make a statement, it seems, tonight. Here he comes across the line. What is he going to do? He does a 1:34.010 there, putting the Haas driver at the top again. So Sam is looking very racy tonight.
Round the final corner comes White Fountain. Can his teammate improve on his time? Currently sixth. Fountain across the line. He goes just under 4 tenths faster. Does not improve. So what have we got? We've got Gamer 33.7. What a lap from him. He goes almost 3 tenths of a second faster. We've got Charlie. He's coming up to. Sorry, that was Hercules just coming into the pit lane. We've got, who else is on track? We've got a number of drivers still doing the rounds. TL44S is coming up to the final few corners now in the Mercedes. Had a decent showing last week in Japan. He'll be looking at improving that position this week and getting back up into some more decent points. In ninth position, up into seventh. Good lap there from TL44S, a guy that you know well.
Yeah, funny, you jumped on board with him just as I jumped on board with him. It was like we minds united there, and he did a decent lap there, just under half a second quicker on his previous lap, so he'll be happy with that, I'm sure, and if he can get within that top 10 this evening. I think he qualified just outside last week. If he can get within that top 10 tonight, I'm sure there's opportunity for him to score points tonight. He's a handy driver, and if he has an opportunity to sniff out good points, he'll be right there to do it, and I'm sure tonight, especially on this track, there will be plenty of opportunities for points scoring places. So one to probably watch is TL44S.
Foxy up into the top 10. He goes 10th with 1:35.259. So these guys all around those sort of, you can see the gap you've got there is really between 7th and 11th, 12th is split by around 3/10 of a second, so it is mightily close in the midfield as it was last week. So yeah, there's definitely a potential for a bit of fire or a couple of fireworks early in the race. And but yeah, Gamer, that's a real statement lap from him. A 33.750 puts himself comfortably into the pole at the moment. But what can Sam, Harry, or Hercules do to combat it? They've got a lot of work if they're going to have to overhaul that amount of time, because I mean, we were talking beforehand that Gamer was looking already as though he could be the man to beat this season, and with a lap like that, that's exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just riding on board with the Ferrari driver of Burmeister. He should, as long as he keeps it on the black stuff, should go quicker here. He was 3 tenths up in the second sector, so the moment the Burmeister should promote him, you'd imagine, comfortably into the top 10 now. He's come up to the final few corners. Here comes Burmeister now. One more corner to do. Can he get it just right? And if he can, it looks neat and tidy. Here he comes across the line. What does he do? Just outside the top 10, but not by much. It's a 1:35.284. Hardly anything between him and Foxy.
Now that puts you in it's a difficult position, isn't it, when you're in that mid pack? Of course, 18 drivers here this evening, but if you are in 11th position, of course you have that option of choosing your tyre come the race, whereas of course Foxy would be starting on the softs that he's done his laps on, whereas Burmeister, if he does finish in 11th position, position, has that option, but then you are caught in the middle of the pack. So it's really a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because you've got to choose between potentially starting on fresh tyres and having that option of a different strategy come the race, and having to defend and attack at the same time, especially in the early laps. So these guys, it's all about playing the strategy card tonight.
It really is, and I wouldn't like to try and work out a strategy tonight because, as we spoke about a few times, as we've seen last week, in the first 10 or 11 seconds of the race, a safety car or a virtual safety car could easily jump into the race and really make life difficult for all those race strategists out there. So yeah, it's not an easy race to call tonight for what strategy to go with. I'm currently on board with Jean Paulinen in the Renault. He's down in 14th place at the minute, so a tough session so far for him. You'd imagine with 2 minutes to go, this is really going to be his one and only lap here. He's on the soft tyre as well, so it is make or break for him really. His last lap time was a 1:35.7, so he's about 2 seconds at the minute off Gamer, so he's going to have some work cut out if he's going to get anywhere near his teammate tonight.
Yep, absolutely. He's got to make up a lot of time. We'll go back on board with Hercules. I was just following him as he's going around. He's actually slower through the first 2 sectors of the lap. So the German not improving. He just passes the man that's going to probably go for the title this season in CRG Gamer. And here comes Hercules into the final sector. Can he improve on the 134.198 that he currently sits on? He's going to have a mega third sector if he is to get ahead of these guys and up into the front row of the grid. German comes around the final corner. Can Hercules improve? Runs out wide at the last corner, and that's going to cost him. It does. He goes 0.002 seconds slower and invalidates the lap.
Here comes Jean Paulinen, and you would imagine he would go quicker on these soft tyres, but it's been a really scruffy lap for Jean Paulinen. He will go quicker, but I can't... Oh, he's nearly lost it on the line. He's nearly lost it on the line, and that is it for Jean Paulinen. He's stopped at the finish line. He won't be improving, and Jean Paulinen, at best, you'd imagine, unless he can get it going again, at best, Jean Paulinen is going to be 14th and really out of a chance of any chance of winning tonight. It's really been a tough session for the Renault driver. The champion of IRL F1. He's really found it difficult tonight.
Yep, he has indeed. And one person that also hasn't been able to set a lap tonight is Scopefielder, down in 18th position. He's on the medium tyres, so he's going to have to really push hard. You've seen the Warrislanders on the mediums, currently in 9th position. But what can Scope do as he comes across the line to set a time this evening? It's up into 14th position only for a Super Swede. But we'll see the two Williams drivers working together, and Scott had allowed himself to give Harry the tow once again. Can Harry get himself onto the front row of the grid and make it, and a double front row start for 2 rounds in a row? Comes across the final corner, around the final corner, across the line. Harry goes provisional pole, a 33.5. What can Gamer or Sam do to combat that? We've got Gamer is coming up to the final few corners now. We've got a Racing Point that's hit the wall, and that's Cliffy, who's not going to improve. Gamer invalidates. He goes wide after coming across that Racing Point. We've still got the yellow. Is it going to catch out Sam as well? It's not. We go back to green. Can Sam improve on this time? He doesn't. He invalidates as well. So it looks as though Harry is about to take pole position. The only one that can take it away potentially from him is Fountain, who's in 8th position and is going half a second quicker. It's not going to be enough for it though. I think Fountain's going to come out and improve, but it's not going to be enough to get pole. He goes wide at the final corner and only goes up into 7th position. And it looks as though for all intent and purposes that Harry is going to have stolen pole position off of Gamer with a 1:33.5. What a lap from the Williams driver.
That was a stonky lap. I did not expect that at all. But Harry is really proving this season how much he has improved in qualifying. That was an incredible lap for him. And I feel for Gamer as well, because I imagine that had been so frustrating. You've got a new target to set, and then he finds a stranded Racing Point in the middle of the track, which was definitely going to put him off, and unfortunately ran him wide, and as we've seen, it invalidated his lap, and that was the end of it for Gamer. But In second place for Gamer, all is not lost. He's still on the front row. He's still got opportunity to win this race. So he's just got to remember that. He probably would have liked the hat trick again this week, but he's still definitely within a shout of winning this race tonight.
Absolutely, but congratulations to Harry. A brilliant lap from him means that he gets the pole position that he almost took last week. So another fantastic qualifying result from him, and the Brit stands on the top of the standings for qualifying with 1:33.565, just under 0.2 of a second faster than Sergio Gamer, who had to bail out of that lap after getting caught out by the Racing Points. Sam, good qualifying session for the Spaniard, in third position ahead of EL Hercules in fourth. Charlie, his teammate, sits in fifth, with Scott not being able to improve. He's down in sixth. Fountain in seventh, with Lozak. Good qualifying session for the Swiss driver in eighth position. TL44S is in ninth, with Warrislander rounding out the top 10 on the medium tyres. Then you've got Speed Queen, Foxy, Burmeister, Adri, Scope, Jumperlinen, Beck and Beck and Cliffy rounding out the final positions on the grid for this evening. So mega qualifying for Harry, and really decent qualifying for Warrislander, getting inside the top 10 on the medium tyres. So that will mean that the Dutchman can possibly change up that strategy compared to everyone else, and that will we'll see if that pays dividends later in the race. And of course, guys, if you're watching it and if you're enjoying it, make sure you press that like button. Really helps us out massively. And of course, drop into the comments and let us know if you're enjoying it. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you do. Press that button, get subscribed, and ring the bell to be notified every time we go live with a new video, which of course will be Monday nights, Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, racing all on PS4. Of course, you've got IRL F1 on Monday. Tuesday night is the Realistic Performance League. Wednesday night is IRL F2 and F3, and now of course on Sunday evenings you've got Invictus XBOX, and they will be streaming live on twitch.tv, and we will be uploading the videos to YouTube, so you can watch them back on Mondays. So when the videos get uploaded, which will be most likely Sunday night into Monday morning, but of course you can find it here all on Invictus Racing League YouTube channel. And of course you can go to the socials, Invictus RL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on Facebook, and on Instagram, and of course the website invictusracingleague.com, where you get yourself on the grid for F1 2020 coming up very shortly, as the guys sit on the grid. Green flag behind gets us ready for the formation lap. You can see it's the Williams of Harry BR25 sitting with clean air in front of him, and he lines up alongside the man that he had to start behind last week. But this time they swap positions, and this time it's CRG Gamer in the second position, Harry in the first position. Sam, great result from him in the Haas in third, as we go straight to the race by the looks of it. So we've got 4-5 laps, no formation lap. We're going straight to green. Will it catch anyone out? It looks as though Harry gets a good start behind Gamer, struggling off the start, and he's going to come into contact with Sam, who's already around. Sam spins into turn one, loses the back end, and the Spaniard, after qualifying so well, has unfortunately dropped it already. We've got Gamer in second position, Scott and Charlie fighting over fourth and fifth position. Fountain already trying to get involved as well, but great start from Harry. He gets away from Gamer. We've got a Ferrari on the grass at the back, and that's the Warrislander, who are starting on the medium tyres, has already put it onto the grass, and he's down to the back of the field.
Wow, that's really caught me out, I won't lie, but here we are, we're underway, and what an explosive start, and a real unfortunate start for Sam and Warrislander. They find themselves right at the back of the grid. I just wanted to quickly point out that most people were starting outside the top 10 on the medium tyre, except Schofield and John Palainen. They were on the hard and soft tyre. John Palainen has fallen all the way down to 17th place now, so I don't know if he has had an issue, but now John Palainen drops all the way down behind Beck 9000 and Sam, so John Palainen must have had his issue there, and the current IRL F1 champion is down in second to last place at the moment, as Speed Queen gets the first time penalty of the evening. That's a really early time penalty for Speed Queen there.
It is very early indeed. Gamer already on the tail of Harry at the end of the first lap, and although the Renault didn't get as good of a start as the Williams, he's already caught up to him. So Harry is going to have to be on it, because Gamer is going to be on him like a hawk for the rest of this race if he can't get past in these early laps. So Harry is going to have to go from looking in front of him to very much looking behind him, but he does lead us round for the first lap, and the Williams driver will take heart with that. He knows that he can take it to Gamer this season. Gamer's going to think that he's going to have to clear him pretty quickly, because of course with that penalty last week that Harry picked up early on with the safety car, it cost him the opportunity of going for a battle with Gamer. So will we see raw pace Harry versus Gamer on this in the early stages of this race? Hercules is going with them. He's not dropping not being dropped by the likes of Gamer. Scott 1.1 second back. FPL Charlie is in 5th position. Fountain up to 6th. TL44S and Lozak doing very nicely in their first season in IRL F1 is 7th and 8th currently.
Yeah, and we've got a little battle just starting to form here. Former teammates for a while, Boy Better Know and Charlie. Boy Better Know is just falling away ever slightly from the top 3 battle, and it's allowing Charlie to get closer now. And this is also bringing along White Fountain in the house behind. Charlie will be wanting to prove a point, I imagine, on Scott, and vice versa as well. I'm sure Scott will want to prove a point to Charlie as well, that they are the better driver. But at the moment, Scott's just about hanging on in there, around 1.4 seconds. But it's all this is doing is allowing the likes of White Fountain, TL44S and Lozak to close in on this battle for 4th place.
Absolutely, as this battle for the lead continues. Game at 0.3 of a second behind Harry. Hercules now closing into 0.7 of a second, so he's staying with them as Gamer does the fastest lap of 1:38.8 for the Renault driver as he enters turn 1, and he's very close to Harry, so he's going to be wanting, as there we go, the notification comes live, DRS is enabled. So this is where Harry is going to have to, he's going to become a real, he's going to be under real threat from Gamer and equally from Hercules down that long back straight towards turn 8. So he's going to have to watch out, because the Renault is going to be mighty quick on the exit. You can see that Gamer gets a good run, and Hercules has equally had a very good exit out of the hairpin as well. DRS opened for the pair of them, the Renault and the McLaren, down the back straight. Harry's going to call to, where's he going to go? He's going to pull to the inside. No, he's going to leave the inside open, but Gamer not quite close enough. Here comes Hercules, and there's contact between him and the Renault. And he was so hot into that corner. It looks like he's given the position back. Hercules so late on the brakes there, and I'm sure Gamer was not expecting that move at all. And what that's done is actually given Harry over a 1 second gap between himself.
Just slightly behind that battle, we have, I'm still watching the battle between Boy Better Know and Charlie. And Charlie now, with that DRS, as you mentioned, is close right up to the back of that Williams now. Boy Better Know was toing and throwing, trying to get the toe away from Charlie. And what this has done, this battle, what you've just been talking about, has allowed Scott to close in somewhat, as we've got a yellow flag. And is it Burmeister? Burmeister is out. Well, he looks like he's out. He's just parked up at the minute. He's still trying to get the car moved, that Ferrari. But it's just before the hotel section, and at the moment Burmeister's trying to get the car from out of the barrier, and that has dropped him all the way down to 17th place. Sam, by the way, has come into the pits. He had to have a front wing change, and he's now on the medium tyre in last place.
TL44S very deep into turn 1 there. That's going to cost him some time. He was on the tail of White Fountain as Charlie still eyeing up Scott, and these two, as you said, were teammates for a couple of seasons, very successful together. But Charlie, they're not going to give each other any quarter. Good mates off the track, but on the track, pure races. And we can see Charlie lining up Scott down the back straight, the Williams without DRS, the McLaren with DRS, and that's going to give him a huge speed advantage going down into the braking zone. Scott, however, is not going to give up the position. Charlie's going to try and go for the under and over. He's going to have to go deep into each corner and try and get a good run out of the exit of turn 10 here. DRS opened once again to go down towards the chicane at turn 11, turn 12 and turn 13. Scott goes to the inside line. Charlie's going to have to go the long way round, and he gets a little bit of a tag from his former teammate, and Scott in fact picks up 3 second time penalty at the end of that, but Charlie does just about get ahead of him.
He does, and what you can see in the background is a black and gold Haas car of White Fountain fancies a run. Now, the pair of them, Scott hasn't really lost the McLaren yet. He's managed to stay onto the back of him, so Scott will no doubt have DRS the next time round, and also White Fountain. So Charlie, he's not out of danger, is he, at the moment? Because Charlie can't pull away from this battle. He'll soon find himself having to defend us. As we see Gamer is the first of the front runners. Only lap 5, he's already coming into the pits. I'm just going to keep an eye on him now. What tyre he's jumping onto? He's jumping onto the medium tyre, so it's an early pit stop for Gamer, and you'd imagine that's a nailed-on 2 stop for him.
Absolutely, and that's a big undercut. He's going to try and use it's a bit of fresh air, I'd imagine. The Renault's coming out of the tunnel now, and he's going to hopefully stay ahead of what will be Burmeister in the Ferrari, and he is coming out into a little bit of clean air, so he will catch up to the likes of Beck 9000 pretty sharpish, but he does have the opportunity of using, I say using that, he's catching a rate of knots on the exit of the chicane there, so he's going to want to possibly clear these guys as soon as possible, because Harry, at the moment, he's got a second's gap between himself and Hercules. He's not having to worry about DRS just yet, so he can take this really at his own pace, and with potentially Gamer getting caught in a load of traffic, this might work into Harry's hands.
It could. I'm just watching a nice little battle here between Foxy and Lozak as they tag each other. Oh, and let's force Lozak wide. He's going to have to allow Foxy Red to go through. Foxy nearly loses the back end of the car, but just hangs on to his Alpha. It was a nice battle. Foxy managed to get the move done on the first DRS, but then Lozak come back at him. Then they tagged, and Foxy Red locks a tyre up there and just about gets it around the corner. But it's a nice battle there for 7th place. Foxy Red will be wanting to try and catch it with TL4 Ferres, who is slightly fallen away from the top 5 battle. Foxy Red now up into 7th place.
Into the pit lane comes the leader, Harry. What does that one lap undercut for Gamer do? He's coming around the final corner now, and Gamer is going to be able to get a good run on down the main straight. Of course, he's stuck in a little bit of traffic. Harry's going to be exiting the pit lane. He's coming around the corner now. What have we got? Sector 1.
White Fountain has lost it. Turn 3, I think it is, and the Haas car was, as I flicked over to him, he was sideways going down the hill, and yeah, that is really severely cost him. It's dropped him down to 9th place, but you would imagine any moment now he's going to lose that 9th place, because Speed Queen is right there on the medium tyres, and imagine he would really ruin those soft tyres. 5 laps of him, and Speed Queen now with DRS should make easy work of the Haas driver, and she does, and at the moment it's just looking like a really tough session for the Haas team.
Oh, and just as I was trying to find Fountain, you can see Gamer comes out ahead of Harry on track, so that undercut worked to perfection for the Renault driver, and he manages to put Beck 9000 in between himself as Charlie picks up 3 seconds there. So Gamer using that, and in fact he's getting past Scopefielder. So Gamer past Scopefielder. He's now got the Ferrari of the Warrislander ahead, and you can see Harry and Beck fighting over 14th and 15th as Warris picks up a 3-second time penalty there, but Gamer now having to try and make his way past Warris, and he's going to want to get this done as soon as possible. He's going to want to put as many cars in between himself and Harry. He knows that Harry's got the pace tonight, and he's not going to want to sit around and wait for the Englishman to catch up, and Gamer is going to really push hard. You can see how close it is between himself and Warrislander. Gamer not waiting around for anyone at the moment. As you can see, into the box ahead comes White Fountain, so the guys on the softs all deciding to come in this lap. The only ones staying out, Jumperline and Lozak and Hercules, who's still out there on those soft tyres.
Yeah, and you've got a real, well, you did have a good battle between Jumperline and Cliffy and Lozak. Jumperline is trying to seize the opportunity. They were at one point 3 wide in the second DRS zone. Lozak almost lost the back end, and it allowed Cliffy to get through and pull out a lead over Lozak. And Lozak just really struggling on those soft tyres now in his Red Bull. He's looking to just try and get into the pits, you'd imagine, as Jumperline looks like he's going to be making it a nice, easy move on Lozak. And unfortunately for Lozak, once again, down that DRS straight, he's been easily passed and now loses another plate. So at the moment, I think Lozak should be eyeing up a return to the pits a minute, because he's just really struggling to keep the car on the track at the moment.
Harry gets past Warrislander, so it is Game on, literally. It is Harry versus Gamer on track. They are now in 8th and 9th position. Gamer having jumped Harry using the undercut as behind we can see Beck and Schofield are swapping positions over 11th and 12th position into the second chicane. But Harry can now chase down Gamer. It's a 1.5 second gap he's got in between himself. Gamer wanting to clear Speed Queen as Scott picks up 3 seconds of time penalties there. So Scott's going to need to work a little bit harder. Into the box comes Hercules. He's done a lot of extra laps on those tyres compared to the rest of the field. Where's that going to put him? Because you can see the likes of Harry and Gamer, who he was fighting with, have already exited the final corner and making their run down to turn 1. So Hercules is going to have a bit of work to do.
Is as Charlie has made his way past Schofield, and now Charlie next target is Beck 9000. His teammate, can he come ahead of his teammate? His teammate is coming out of the pits now. It's going to be really close. Where are they on the track? And yeah, Hercules just stay ahead, and Hercules already making tracks, and Hercules gets the move done straight away on Warrisland before the turn for the DRS straight. So Hercules is not messing about. He's 2 seconds behind this battle for what would be first place.
And through goes Gamer past Speed Queen, uses those fresher tyres and the Renault up into 5th position. And Harry is going to have to follow suit if he's going to keep up with him. And Harry's got Speed Queen now ahead of him, and we know how hard she defends. Is she going to defend as hard against Harry? She didn't really put up too much of a fight with Gamer, and she's going to the inside line, so she's not giving up the position easily. Harry goes to the outside and sweeps around Speed Queen. Fantastic move from Harry, and he's really in this early stages of the season. We saw him last week in Japan making 2 sumptuous moves on the Haas cars. Where is that coming from?
Foxy Red and Andrew Lockdot were trying to go side by side into the hotel section. I apologise for interrupting. Foxy Red was drifting then around the corner, cut the corner, which gave him that 3 second time penalty. He just did get ahead of Andrew Lockdot in the Toro Rosso, but Andrew trying to get back past him, and 2 didn't really go into 1, and unfortunately they both tagged. It was unfortunate for Foxy really, because he lost out the most. He drops down to 3rd behind Cliffy, but yeah, it's just in a little tap. It wasn't anything malicious, but it was just enough that to put Foxy off, and it has dropped him further down now, which has allowed John Polainen on those soft tyres. He's still out there on those soft tyres. 8 laps on those soft tyres in 4th place at the moment with his teammate less than a second now behind him.
Jumper line and pushing Foxy Red around the hairpin turn there and lining him up down the back straight. Here he comes. Here comes the Finn to the inside, and Foxy Red has got nothing to say about it, so he's going to have to peel into the slipstream and hope to use the second DRS straight, and that's now put Jumper line ahead of the Alfa Romeo, which I'm sure Gamer was kind of hoping that he'd be able to use his teammate's slipstream down this second straight, but of course Jumperline will be fully focusing on retaining his IRL F1 title that he won last season, and not of that of his teammate, who of course has come in and had a fantastic start with the win last week. And you can see this battle is going to rage on, because you've got Gamer on the fresher tyres. Harry is going to be able to get involved because the likes of Gamer will be held up by Jumperline and by Foxy Red. So these guys there out on 8-lap-old tyres. What can Jumperline do? I would imagine that the Finn would be coming in the next few laps. Is he going for a different strategy? We've seen everyone going for that. Does he come to the... He does, into the box. So he's done 8 laps on the soft tyres. That releases Foxy. So that's going to help Gamer and Charlie out. And here comes Harry up the inside of Gamer. There was a good run through the final corner, but we always go 3 wide. It's going to be contact between the 2. Who's going to get the run out of it? You can see Harry, just about Gamer holding onto the position. Foxy wasn't willing to give up any positions there, and he's still trying to stay with it. Harry, I was trying to keep on board with what was going on, but I was just catching Jumperline going into the box, and whilst that happened, Gamer must have made a mistake going into the final corner, because whilst it came back on track, Harry was alongside him.
Oh wow, that was holding your breath moment. I thought at one point they were going to take each other out, and here comes Harry again. Harry now with with the opportunity down the inside. Is Gamer going to be able to do anything about it? Unfortunately, he's going to try though, isn't he, Gamer? Unfortunately, Harry then now gets the move done, but what can Gamer come back at him? This is an absolutely mega battle now. I'm going to sit on board with Gamer because this is absolutely fantastic. Can Harry now defend? He's gone from the attacker to the defender now. Harry down into the corner. Gets it done nicely, and Gamer has to concede that, and Foxy Red is not far behind this. He's getting a great view of this battle for the lead, what will be eventually, and at the moment now Harry giving as good as he gets on Gamer.
Now, I'll be interested to see what Gamer does here, because does he decide to sit behind Harry for now, let Harry punch the hole through the air and get past these cars? And of course, it means that Gamer can sit behind him, save a little bit of fuel, save a little bit of ERS using the slipstream of the Williams, because we can see that they're both relatively paced this evening. So does Gamer play this off strategically? And as Harry almost loses it out of the final corner, Gamer still staying with him. You can see behind, Hercules is already catching up and is now past Foxy Red into turn 1. So Hercules getting back involved in this battle. We thought that he might have cost himself some time having stopped a few laps later than these guys, but with the battle that was going on between the two Renaults, the Alfa Romeo and the Williams, it's really allowed the McLaren back into this fight, and he's only a few, less than the corner behind. You can see, 1.5 seconds gap between Gamer and VL Hercules.
I'm just going through the whole field at the moment. We've got Sam. He's trying to recover. He's down in 13th place. He's on the medium tyres. TL44S picks up a 3-second time penalty there. I'm right on board with Sam. He's on 8-lap medium tyres. He's got Schofield in the Alfa Romeo on 10-lap hard tyres. And unfortunately for Schofield, I think he's about to lose that place. That 12th place as Sam now is bringing along John Polainen with him. Sam gets the move done, and John Polainen gets a double toe there and gets the move done on Schofield as well. Schofield not really able to do anything about it, and what that's also done is it's also brought White Fountain along as well. We've got some epic drivers here fighting for 12th place at the moment as John Polainen now decides, I'm not just going to take Schofield, I'm going to take Sam as well, and John Polainen in the space of 2 corners has got 2 places done. Great driving there from our current champion.
The Renault up to 12th position, but way out of position compared to what we're used to seeing. You can see ahead the Mercedes and the Ferrari battling on track. That's TL44S and Burmeister battling over the final point. Into the box comes Agilokdok. He was, as long as Foxy, both those two guys, 11 laps on the medium, so they've come in to make their first stop of the race. Gamer is still 4/10 of a second behind Harry. We'll get back on board with that battle as soon as we can. You can see Scott now moving up into 5th position with the pit stops being made. We can see where there's going to be a lot of positions changing, so we'll find out in a second. The Ferrari goes deep, and that allows Sam up the inside, so Burmeister going deep into turn 1. Sam now up into 9th position, but after that mistake on turn 1 of lap 1, it's really cost him, because Sam looked as though he had really decent pace this evening, so he'll be gutted with that spin.
He really will, and I'm staying with John Polainen. He seems to be the man to watch at the moment for the action, and his next target is the Mercedes driver of TL44S. TL44S trying to go defensive, and unfortunately it's going to be another easy pass for John Polainen. John Polainen gets the move done way before the corner, nice as he does it, and now John Polainen up into P7. At the moment it's a really good recovery for him, because he was right down in about 15th or 16th at one point, so up into P7. Next target, 1.1 seconds, is Beck 9000.
Gamer moves back up into the lead. I wouldn't shout over you, because I'm expecting this to go on for another few laps. So Gamer moves past Harry, uses DRS, and now Hercules getting involved in this battle. We've got a 3-way dance for the race win tonight. We're only on lap 12 of 28, so plenty more racing left to be done. But Harry, he was, like I said, he was punching the hole through the air, which meant that he didn't have as much drag on the car, and that allowed Gamer to cruise up to the back of him using the slipstream, and he gets past. Does Harry have anything to come back at him with on this lap? But Hercules getting involved as well. We've got this 3-way car before a 3.5 second gap almost between themselves and Charlie, the second McLaren, and then of course Scott further back from him in the Williams. Not having a great race tonight, but we'll see. Does Harry have a good run on Gamer going down the back straight once again? Will we see another change for position? Here comes Harry. Is he close enough to make a move on Gamer down into the braking point? It looks as though he's just out of reach this time. Hercules, we've seen him make a deep lunge already this evening, so Harry's going to watch out in front and behind tonight, because Hercules is always going to be eyeing up a decent position. We know the only driver in IRL history to win 6 races in a season and not win the championship after he lost it to Jumper Liner by a couple of points last season. And we've got this mega battle going on for the lead, and I do want to try and catch as much as going on around the track, because you can see Sam getting up past TLL 44S, Cliffy and Schofield are trading positions over 12th and 13th. But what a mega battle we've got for the lead.
We really have, and we've got a real, like you say, a real good battle. Oh, that is Jumperlinen has just ruined my speech. Jumperlinen didn't have any time penalties. What I was about to say was Jumperlinen it could still well be. He's only 2.8 seconds behind Boy Better, but Boy Better has 6 seconds worth of time penalties, whereas Jumperlinen didn't have any time penalties until just this moment. Jumperlinen just ruining my speech there, but it's 2 points. Boy Better takes up another 3-second time penalty. So that's 9 seconds worth of time penalty now for the Williams driver. Jumperlinen is a man on a mission right now, and I believe he's got at least 5th place in the bag here at the moment. Boy Better Know is 10.5 seconds behind Charlie, so it might be a bit too much to ask for Jumperlinen to catch Charlie, but 5th place is definitely achievable, and it would be a hell of a result for him from especially where he started in qualifying.
It would, and you can see a lot of these guys here on the medium tyres from 1st all the way down to 11th have all gone from the medium compound, so you can expect to see them into the box one more time. Those on from 12th down to 18th are on the hard tyres, so expect to see them go to the end. I've got deep intakes of breath. Sab, what's going on?
He's nearly got 4 wide here. Sam, Beck 9000, TL44S and White Fountain's trying to get involved now. Sam's trying to get defensive here. Beck 9000's coming alongside TL44S. TL44S is trying to get 8th place back, but also trying to catch up with Sam. But you've also got White Fountain trying to be cheeky, and they've collided. Oh my god. Beck 9000, White Fountain, TL44S are trading places here. Surely we've got 3 wide here. Sure, not going to 4 wide. We're going to 4 wide here. Oh my god, 4 wide. And oh, they've touched Beck 9000. Oh, this was always going to end in disaster, I think, and Beck 9000 collided with White Fountain, I believe it was, and unfortunately that mega 4 wide just ended up in disaster. We've got yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3 now. Amazingly, I thought we might have seen a safety car, or virtual safety car, from that incident, but it looks like it's just being recorded as yellow flags at the moment. But that was one hell of a battle. It's just such a shame it ended like it did, because these guys were just trading paint, and it was clean up until that very moment. Epic racing that was.
Unfortunately, just caught the end of it when the contact happened. I was trying to not stray away from this lead battle, because Harry is back up into the lead of the race, and like I said, not talking over you, because I'm expecting this to continue for the next 13 laps. We've just crossed over the halfway point of this lap race. Sorry, lap 15 of 28. Gamer coming back at Harry, deep into the braking zone, almost collides with the back of the Williams. Can he get a good run? Jumper line. Oh my! I cannot speak this evening. Jumper line in 5th position. He has cleared Scott now, so he's up into 5th. Charlie picked up 3 seconds of time penalty, so he's safe at the moment, but he's probably just cost himself the chance of closing in on this lead battle. Gamer 0.3 of a second behind Harry. Hercules 0.6 of a second behind Gamer. These 3 really putting on a show, and behind, the battle on for the majority of the other points is all going off, as Sab has been telling you about, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you a highlights package with a load of their guys' POVs later in the week, so make sure you check out all the socials for that. We'll be getting the onboards for that 4 wide. You can see the gaps between the likes of TL44S and Cliffy, and into the box for the first time for the second stint comes Gamer. So Gamer making the jump back into the pit lane for the first of those runners once again. So he goes for the undercut in 2nd position. Harry, he's going to have to respond next lap.
He really is going to have to respond, and while you're watching that mega battle, I'm definitely keeping my eye on these battles for the final points playing positions. And you've got Cliffy now on the hard tyres, newer lap hard tyres compared to TL4 for us on 9-lap medium tyres, and Cliffy is gaining fast on the Mercedes driver. And right on board with Cliffy, he can see White Fountain and Foxy Red in the distance, so Cliffy has got an opportunity here to score some good points tonight on his return back into Invictus Racing. We see Burmeister 3 seconds time penalty here. So at the moment, it's absolutely fascinating to see what these guys can do round the 7th place positions. We see CRG Gamer has come back out into 6th place. He's got a bit of a breathing air with 3 seconds behind Boy Better Know. He's got Sam not far behind us. Foxy, talking of Sam, Foxy gets the move done nicely. The Alfa Romeo driver nicely moved on Sam. He does go ever so slightly deep though, Foxy, and this should allow Sam to have another run back. Sam now, is he going to be able to get close? He's just fallen away ever so slightly, and I don't think, unless a late lunge here, Sam won't get the move done on. Foxy will retain 7th place.
Fresher tyres for the Alfa Romeo gives him the option of that extra grip on the exit of every corner, and that's what happened on the exit of the hairpin. He had a much better run and got the move done, and Sam, unfortunately, on those 13-lap old tyres, and into the box does come Harry and comes Hercules. So where is Gamer on track? Can he get out back ahead, and does he do the double undercut that we saw earlier? He's already done the got past Harry once on track using the undercut. Will he be able to get past this time? But you can see Scott is playing team for Harry, and he is holding up the game as Gamer as much as possible. He's not allowing Gamer past at all, and he's just, you can see this is a beautiful team play, gamesmanship at its finest, and Gamer will be so frustrated because out of the pit lane comes Harry, and he maintains the lead just with Scott holding up Gamer. So the undercut would have worked, but Scott playing a fantastic team role for Harry, and he fends off Gamer's attack. Gamer sending up the inside of Scott into the hairpin, does manage to clear, and Scott tucking into the slipstream. Is he going to try and come back again? Gamer switching to the inside. Scott's going to go to the outside behind. Hercules is still thinking about the pair of them, but we're going to go. Gamer's got the inside line. Surely Scott's going to have to release and relinquish the position, and Gamer up into what is going to be effective second position. Hercules now looking at getting past Scott. Scott pulling to the outside line, not wanting to get involved in that battle. He's not involved in... Oh, as I say that, there's a little bit of contact between himself and Hercules at the breaking point, but... yeah, well, that's worked out perfectly for Harry, but I'm sure Gamer will not be best pleased with the antics of Boy Ben and OSB.
That is absolutely superb team play. I have to give a round of applause for Scott there. He played it. He was aggressive. Yes, you can definitely agree with me on that. He was aggressive, but I think it was fair. He wanted to make sure his teammate got every possible outcome of being back in front after his pit stop. As you imagine, Boy Better Know does come into the pits now. I'm not surprised about that. So Harry now, as Charlie also comes into the pits. Harry now up into P2 with John Polainen, who I've spoke about quite a lot. He's currently sat in first place on 8-lap old tyres. Surely he can't go all the way to the end, and if he does, that'll be one hell of a achievement. VL Hercules picks up 3 second time penalty. So unfortunately tonight, I think we could end up seeing a race determined on penalties, because quite a few people now are starting to pick up those niggly penalties.
Now, does John Polainen play the same game as Scott did? So this is, it was absolute S-housery at its finest with Scott, and he really did the job for Harry, and Harry, I'm sure, will be pretty thankful to his teammate, who, although both of the pair of them will be looking at a push for the title, Harry has obviously got the pace tonight, but he's now going to have to fend off Gamer half a second behind him, and I know we've been watching these two pretty much all race long, but the action is thick and fast at the front, and these two have really put on a show, and Hercules falling off 1.5 seconds now. He's dropped behind, so a mistake for the German on this lap, and that penalty added is not going to help him at all. But jumper line and 3.3 seconds ahead of these guys. We can see in the comments Jumpalainen will be going to the end, supposedly, on these medium tyres. Now, this is something we saw from him last week in Japan. He decided to go for a very long stint on the hard tyres, and it really cost him in the late stages, and he fell back to fifth position on track. So, will Lightning strike twice? Will he be able to get to the end successfully, as Gamer does the fastest lap of the race of 37.515? So the pressure is now being firmly put on Harry, and Yeah, Jumpalainen. 9 laps on those tyres so far. Plenty more racing left to go. Is he going to fight when Harry and Gamer inevitably cruise up to the back of him? Because you're going to think that he just wasn't. He won't want to take that much life out of those tyres. Will he conserve them and look at pushing later in this race at the cost of perhaps the race win or second position to his teammate?
It could quite well be the case, yes. He's got 3 seconds worth of time penalties, so it's not too bad. 2.2 seconds ahead of Harry. I wouldn't be surprised if CRG Game and Jumpline have had a discussion about what has happened on previous laps and wonder whether Jumpline will try to help him out somewhat, but like you say, he'll not surely want to damage those tyres too much because he's got to focus on getting to the end of the race. 9 more laps to get to the end of the race. So yeah, it's an interesting compromise he might have to do here, Jumpline. But like you say, he's no stranger to doing these sort of tactics, is he? We've seen him in many races in past season as well, where he's gone long on harder tyres. And for his sake, let's see if it works. I've just been keeping an eye on FPL Charlie. He's slowly starting to work his way back through the field now. He's got ahead of Adrian Lockdock in up into 7th place now. His next target is Cliffy. He's on those hard tyres. He's the highest place of the hard tyre runners at the minute, in 6th place on for the Racing Point. Cliffy having a good race at the moment.
Yep, he is on his return to Invictus in 6th position for the Racing Point. Scott cleared Sam to get back up into the top 10 as Burmeister picks up another 3-second time penalty, and 3 seconds for Gamer.
Oh.
So that could play big in the race results, because it'll be interesting to see if Harry can keep it clean, because he'll now be getting told in his ear from Jeff, of course, our trusty Jeff, as Scott does the fastest lap, 37.4, that Gamer now has a 3-second time penalty, so he can lose 3 seconds as Lozat then picks up 3 seconds. So these guys racking up the penalties that will be affected post race, and yeah, so Gamer, that's possibly trying just a little bit too hard to close up to the Williams, because I'm sure that after last week that he knew that Harry had the pace and he's going to want to beat him, because I mean really we've seen Harry 2 seasons ago with race wins on a Monday night when it was the then no assist championship, but last season it didn't really work out for him. It was a couple of podiums here and there. At the end of the season he had a good run, but never fighting for that race win when it was Jumpline and the Hercules. So this pace has been startling, hasn't it? Because it seems to have come from nowhere.
Yeah, it really has, and it's like it got a new lease of life. I was just looking through the incident report while you was talking there, and Gamer really is trying to push as hard as possible, because at the moment, on this lap alone, he's picked up 3 warnings. One of the warnings was for his 3 seconds, and he's picked up another couple of warnings. So Gamer is probably pushing a bit too hard at the minute, and find himself maybe getting a little frustrated sat behind that Williams now. As you can see, Harry now cruising up to the back of John Pine, and it'll be very interesting to see what John Pine does here. Does he defend hard, or does he do a bit of payback on the Williams driver and try and give Gamer an opportunity to get back here? Because Gamer, now he's got that 3 seconds worth of time penalties, is going to not only have to pass Harry, but he's going to have to build up 3 seconds. And the way Harry's driving at the moment, it's going to be extremely difficult to do, isn't it? As John Pine, and now you'd imagine surely on those 11 lap old medium tyres, as there you go, he's weaving to try and defend. Surely this should be easy work for Harry. Here comes Harry now. He's going to cruise up to the back of that Renault, around the outside. Nicely done there. And will Gamer... No, Gamer's not close enough. John Pine wasn't able to really hold Harry up, and this now, John Pine's only really holding up his teammate. He'll allow him to get a nice toe, but at the moment, John Pine isn't really doing his teammate any favours here. Surely John Pine's going to move out of the way. No, John Pine is trying to get the move done on Harry, and now at the moment, John Pine is literally getting... Oh, they've touched! Oh no, Gamer and the teammates, that's the one rule you don't do. Gamer has touched his teammate, and I have to say, surely John Pine's at fault there. Gamer, yes, was increasingly getting frustrated. You want to get the move done, but surely you get on the team radio and tell your teammate to move out of the way, and John Pine didn't, and it forced Gamer to try and do something bold, and it's unfortunately dropped him now down behind Hercules. Absolute disaster there for the Renault team.
Well, I think Jumperliner will say, I'm going to the end on these tyres. You're going to have to pass me on track. It's only round two, and he doesn't want to give up his IRL F1 championship early, and he's certainly not going to want to play second driver to a new driver into the league. So, yeah, Jumperliner trying to put his foot down and stomp himself as, look, I'm the current champion here. You're going to have to get past me, and contact was made, and Gamer now drops to fourth position. He's now got a hell of a lot of work to do if he's to get back up into the podium positions. 4 seconds he's got to close up between himself and Hercules. He's got a nice gap between himself and Charlie. We've got the battle between Scott and Sam is still going. Sam got back past Scott, but Scott's still within half a second. Hercules now 0.6 of a second behind Jumperlinen. And we said it last week, that's a battle that we always enjoy seeing, Jumperline and Hercules. And these two will be fighting over second position now, but this is working perfectly into the hands of Harry.
It most definitely is, because Jean Polainen is just over 2 seconds behind the Williams driver now. Can Hercules get the move done? Yes, he can. He's gone too deep. He's gone way too deep there. Hercules, yeah, and Jean Polainen says, thank you very much. I'll have that position back. And a very unlike Hercules' mistake there, wasn't it? He was late on the brakes, and unfortunately for him, he was too late on the brakes, and it's allowed John Pine to keep that position and only extend Harry's lead. So at the moment, all this squabbling at the back is benefiting one man only, and that is Harry.
I believe that's called the Fernando Alonso line through that corner, especially in the McLaren. And Hercules, he's decided that it was probably not the best thing to do, and he's going to have to sit behind Jumperliner once again and re-engage in this battle. And this is helping Gamer. 3.1 seconds the gap now between the pair. Hercules is going to clear Jumperliner as soon as possible. And Jumperliner, it looks as though he is going to the end, and we know that he is a feather touch on that throttle pedal when it comes to looking after the tyres. He doesn't put too much energy into them, as Foxy picks up 3 seconds. He's down in a 12th position. He's just come in for a set of soft tyres, so he's probably going to look at stealing that fastest lap off the likes of the drivers inside the top 10 at the moment. Hercules exits the hairpin, gets a good exit. Can he get a run on Jumperliner going down the straight? Jumperliner weaves to the left-hand side of the track, and Hercules is going to follow him. Beck retires in 18th position. Here comes Hercules down the inside. Is he going to make the move? He's going to go deep once again. Jumperliner gives him the space. Is he going to go for the under and over? No, Hercules gets a good run through the chicane, and he's up into second position. But look at that gap now that Harry owns, a 3.8 second gap between the Williams and the McLaren.
Keeping an eye on a battle what we saw quite a lot of, and that is
Sab, just to jump in. Jumperliner and Hercules contact at the second chicane there. Jumperliner tried to go for the inside line. Hercules shut the door, and it was wheel to side pod. Luckily, we didn't see a repeat of the two Renaults colliding, where Gamer was unfortunately put off track. But Jumperliner trying to go for the inside. Hercules not giving him the option. But look at the gap; it's now closed down to 1.2 seconds between Jumperliner and Gamer, and Gamer will be seeing red, having collided with his teammate earlier in the race. Will we see fireworks once again from the Renault team?
Oh, most definitely. I think we might, and this is only going to increase the temperature within that team. Them two will certainly be battling it out for third place. Yeah, I just wanted to point out, Boy Better Know got the move done on Sam, and I wanted to just say a special shout out to Adrian Hot Dog. He's been fairly quiet all race, but he's currently in 7th place, having a decent race on those hard tyres, not too far behind Cliffy. And the moment Scott is trying to get a move done on him, but Adrian Hot Dog sitting nicely in the top 10.
Yep, we'll go on board with Scott in a second as he closes down on the Spaniard in 7th position. Lozak picks up another 3 seconds here, but here comes Gamer on his teammate Jumperliner. This time he gets the move done early on in the straight. Jumperliner is going to have to peel into the slipstream, and surely on 14 lap old medium tyres he's not going to have a reply to Gamer, and he's going to have to relinquish his position on the podium. Of course, Gamer's sitting on that 3-second time penalty as well, so he's going to have to run away from Jumperliner, because otherwise he's going to fall off the podium once again. But Gamer can get back onto it. It's now a 1.8 second gap between himself and Hercules in second position. Scott and Sam both clear Adri for 7th and 8th position. Is finally we can see the battle is really starting to intensify. You can see behind Sam you've got 1, 2, 3 cars, and here comes what's going on?
Sam is just squeezing his way through, and in the space of 2 corners, Sam has jumped at Jogdog, and now Sam is re-passed Boy Better Knows. Sam was finding the smallest of areas to get the car past down the inside, and Scott couldn't really do anything about it. And Sam now back up into 7th place. It's a case of recovery, isn't it, for Sam now, as he's trying to gain back as many positions as he possibly can. He's now 5 seconds behind Clifford in 6th.
And Scott still chasing down, and Scott seemingly a bit of a recovery driver. I believe he probably sacrificed his race by making sure that Harry got the run out of the pit lane ahead of Gamer, so that's what's cost him that time. He's down in 8th position now, having started much further up the grid. And welcome to everyone joining the stream tonight. Hope you're enjoying it. Let us know. We've got what, 3.5 laps left to go in the race. Who's going to take it tonight? Is it going to be Harry? Will we see late drama? Hercules, and he's got Gamer closing in very quickly. Will Gamer be able to clear Hercules? And equally, will Jumpalani be able to stay within that 3-second window to Gamer to get back onto the podium? And it'd be great to hear from the Renault drivers after the race on any sort of or the incident that occurred between the pair. Here comes Scott to the inside of Sam. These two are going to trade positions once again, and they'll be getting dizzy. Sam swapping left to right, trying to find the position. Fountain goes up the inside of Adri a lot behind, so Adri falling down now into 10th position, but Scott now up into 7th, and Sam now having to go back down to 8th. But the Williams and the Haas, they know each other very well on track, and a lot of history between these two. But Scott said in the week when we spoke to him that this season it's all about picking up consistent points. Last season he got very frustrated. He was all about elbows out, as Hercules picks up 3 seconds there. So big penalty for Hercules. That's going to possibly cost him a place in 2nd. But yeah, Scott said elbows out last season didn't work for him. This season it's all about being careful and trying to pick up the points, especially with Harry as his teammate. So yeah, you can see doing very nicely in 7th position.
One guy to keep an eye on, and I believe he has picked up time penalties, but one guy to keep an eye on right now is Foxy Red on those soft tyres. He can see Scott in 7th place at the moment as he's about to... Oh, Adri's pushing Foxy into the wall, and they both hit the wall on the stop finish line. And oh dear, that is ended up in disaster. And Adri Lockdock is now sideways at turn 1. Is this going to bring out any virtual safety car or safety car? Adri Lockdock isn't moving at the moment, so surely we will see something. It's still yellow flag in sector 1, but unfortunately for Foxy, he tried one down the inside, and Adri just gave him no room. He just squeezed, and unfortunately, Foxy collided with the wall, and looking at his front wing, yes, he's missing most of his front left of his wing, so unfortunately for Foxy, that's what I was about to big up. He's pretty much out of it now, and Foxy had an opportunity to try and close in on this battle for 7th, and Sam and Boy Better Know are at it again, aren't they, as Sam tries one again, and this is allowing White Fountain to try and have a go here, and at the moment, Scott is sat in a Haas sandwich right now. Scott, can he get the move done on Sam again? These two swapping places all night long, and Scott trying one round the outside. Can he get the move done? Oh God, they pretty much sat on each other's laps here, and they bang wheels again, and this is going to surely allow White Fountain just not close enough, and these two, I think they're going to be trading paint for at least the last few laps, aren't they?
I'm just sitting on board with the Belgian driver White Fountain as he watches the battle between his teammate and Scott ahead, as Gamer picks up a 3-second time penalty. Scott picks up 3 seconds almost immediately after, but yeah, Scott is probably seeing double in his mirrors at the moment, because he's had Sam behind him, in front of him, behind him, and there's Fountain picking up some penalties as well. So it's all going on. We're on the penultimate lap of the race, lap 27 of 28, and yeah, Scott probably thought he saw it was a swarm of bees with the black and gold behind him, as you can see Sam's now got back ahead of Scott. These two have been on each other for the entire race, it feels. Fountain tried to get involved in it, but unfortunately just didn't have the traction. He's still in 9th position. Foxy is into 10th position after that contact with Adri Lockdock, who's now down to 16th. So disappointment for Adri. We've still got, this is the closest battle on track, with Scott closing in as Adri does retire from the race. In 15th, here comes Scott to the inside line of Sam. Will Sam go to the outside and get a good run on the exit? But Scott back up into 7th position, and he's back up ahead of the Haas cars. Here comes Sam once again. These guys, I'd love to count how many times they've traded positions on track, because Sam goes to the outside and now gets position back. He's back up into 7th
Oh,
position. Whoever thought that 7th was such a coveted position? Oh, what a
oh,
move from Scott. What an exit out of the second chicane. He gets back up ahead. That was a mega move. He got the exit of the chicane perfect, but Sam is not giving up at all. These two really putting on the show this evening. Will go on board of Harry as he goes round his final lap very, very shortly. But Sam, Scott, and now Fountain really pushing hard. And they've got to watch out because Foxy Red is closing in hot on those fresh softs.
they could have a highlight show just based on these battles so far. It's been one hell of a battle, over 7th place, and as you say, Foxy Red, he will struggle, I think, on this last lap. He is closing in on this battle, I think, only because they are squabbling so much. But Foxy has got significant front wing damage, so yeah, maybe down the start finish rate he might be able to catch up with these guys. But I think it's going to be asking a bit too much of Foxy to be able to do anything. As Sam and Boy Better Know once again trade places, but I think that was it too soon for Sam there, because Sam now is going to surely be a sitting duck for Boy Better Know, and surely be dragging along White Fountain as well.
And here comes Scott to make the move once again. I'm not quite sure who I want to say is in 7th, but who's got the mega toe? It's Fountain, who's going to get a really good run on his teammate, and Fountain passes Sam down into the braking zone. So fantastic move from there from Fountain. He's also then going to get a really good run on Scott, so Fountain might make himself 2 positions in a couple of corners. But what we'll do is we'll go back on board with our leader Harry as he rounds the final 2 corners of the race. It's been an absolutely storming race from the Williams driver. He comes across the line, the fireworks go off, and Harry, a magnificent IRL F1 win. Hercules in 2nd, Gamer in 3rd. Does he hold on to it with the penalties? It looks like he's going to. We'll go on board with this battle between Scott and the rest of them as we'll find out if Jumper Line does hold on to 4th. It is, so we'll go and check in with the Haas and what is now Sam in 7th. Scott is gonna just about keep it out of the wall, it looks as though, but we've still got this battle. Scott just about keeping it in a straight line. Foxy's still battling. What is going on with these guys? They're pushing so hard. Who's going to get it on the line? It's going to be Sam, and we know that they've all got time penalties. Where is it going to shape up? Sam in 7th, Scott in 8th. He drops down to 9th. Fountain, there must have been an issue. He drops down, I say drops down to 10th. He now moves up to 8th position with penalties. I'm pretty sure I've expended the amount of oxygen in my lungs with that last lap. With TL44S in 12th, Lozak in 13th, Scopefielder moves up to 12th, Burmeister is in 15th, Speed Queen, last one on track, having lost the 2 Toro Rossos, Adrian Lockdock and Beck, late in the race, and Speed Queen will be the last one to finish in the Red Bull, is in 16th position. And Sab, keep us up to date. What happened between the Hasses and the Williams?
So White Fountain decided he's going to try and move on Boy Better Know around the outside, brake too late, had to cut the corner, and then that allowed Scott to come back, similar to what he did to Sam a few laps ago, but this time they both touched. White Fountain was sent then in a spin. Luckily enough, the face still facing the right way, managed to get going again, didn't hit the wall, kept it on the track, and eventually, because of time penalties, made the positions up. But at one point, they were nearly 3 wide going through that little chicane, and unfortunately for White Fountain, he just about lost out, but in the end, because of penalties, it was made up to him. But wow, you say you don't like Abu Dhabi, but what a race that was tonight.
Mega race. Had so much fun. These guys really putting on a mega show for you guys, and if that's not worth a like, I don't know what is. So make sure you press that like button below, subscribe if you're not already, ding the bell to be notified with every video we go live with. And there is your race tonight, a clean one for the Williams driver, 46 minutes and 53 seconds. Harry takes the race win ahead of Hercules in 2nd position. Gamer goes down to 3rd. 6 seconds of penalties cost him. Jumpalainen is in 4th after starting 16th and going on the 1-stop. Fantastic race from him, coming in 4th. Charlie is in 5th. A bit of a lonely race for him. Cliffy will be delighted. 18th up to 6th. Sam in 7th position. Fountain in 8th, making it a 7-8 for Haas. Alpha with Foxy Red in 9th. Scott down to 10th position. Picks up 15 seconds of time penalties. The dreaded 15 for Scott. Warrislander in 11th. Scopefielder TL44S, Lozat Burmeister, Spiegwin finished outside of the points. Lozat picking up 18 seconds of time penalties there, so he will be disqualified from the race results due to picking up more than 15 time penalty. 15 seconds of time penalties. There we go. We'll get the words out eventually. Yeah, and then unfortunately we lost both Toro Rosso drivers, Adrian Lockdock and Beck 9000. And wow, mega race sets us up so well for the rest of the season. We know now that it's not going to be demolition and complete domination from Gamer. He's got Harry, who is on a complete another level from what we saw last season, and Harry will be, I'm sure, will be joining us very very shortly. We'll be absolutely delighted with that result tonight, snatching pole position and then taking the win. So yeah, what a race from Harry and Sab. It's such a this is the reason why IRL F1 this season is just going to be the best we've seen in such a long time here at Invictus, because the talent level is just startling. You've got so many drivers that have got potential of getting themselves up onto the podium, and even when they're not fighting for the podium, we saw that just sumptuous battle between Scott, Sam and Fountain over 7th position. If we're battling like that for 7th, then we're set up for a brilliant season.
We really are. You've got some fantastic drivers all the way through the grid, and like you say, the battles we saw, not only for the lead and for those podium places, but at one point for 10th, 11th and 12th place, we had some superb battles throughout. They gave us some absolutely fantastic racing. At one point, we was 4 wide at one point in that second DRS zone. That was truly astonishing. It was a shame it ended up with that issue with Beck 9000, but yeah, absolutely fantastic. And as you can see now, the podium guys are in the chat with us now, so we'll get ahead with the questions.
Absolutely, and seeing as I took the honours last week, I feel free, Sab, to take the reins this week and speak to, well, good evening and guten Abend to our podium staff finishers.
Good evening, guys. Harry, we'll start with you. Congratulations. What an evening it was for yourself. You certainly set your intentions last week with your qualifying and coming home in second and running pretty closely to Gamer for large parts, apart from that penalty. And tonight you stepped it up and did one better. How was that race for yourself?
Mad qualifying. I was just trying to get ahead of Sam, really. Scott did a massive favour for me in qualifying. And then the race, I wasn't as quick as Hercules or Gamer, especially at the start of the stints. I think towards the end when all of our tyres went off, it was a bit easier. But no, in the end, I think it's just having track position and obviously getting past jumper line. It turned out to be the sort of turning point in the race and not getting a penalty. So yeah, I'm really pleased.
Yeah, I imagine you are, and I have to say, you probably will have to say a big thanks to your teammate Scott. He certainly had a place to say in the last pit stop phase where he managed to hold up Gamer just enough, and it allowed you to get out of the pit stops back ahead of Gamer. So that worked out perfectly for you. And in the end, once you, like you say, got ahead of jumper line, and it was a case of just making sure you didn't pick up any penalties, which you did great at. But yeah, congratulations, Harry. Absolutely superb. I'll get back to you shortly. I'll just move on to Hercules now. Hercules, second place. It's not usually a place you're particularly happy with, especially after last season, how many wins you picked up. But after all those battles and everything else what went on tonight, are you pretty happy with where you finished?
Yeah, I'm happy because for the time I put in for the races on Monday, to be honest, I have no real time because I work maybe 8 to 10 hours a day, and I just came on and drove without eating anything, so I'm happy. I couldn't concentrate. But I don't know why the last 2 races. We have always problem with the lobbies. People cannot join. There are glitches, and even at the start, I don't know where Harry was, but he was not moving. So we all had fucking cold tires at the start. Then there was a sandwich, and Sam got spun. So there's always a bit of bullshit happening, and even when we have duels, it's I think it wasn't the cleanest race at all. But at the end, I'm happy about P2, and yeah, shame for Gamer, he got spun out by his teammate.
Yeah, we'll get onto that shortly, and hopefully some of these little issues will be ironed out. But second place is certainly decent at the start of the season, and I'm sure you can build on that. I'd like to move on to gaming now. Last week you were the winner. This week you did the number one rule and collided with your teammate John Polanen. Could you possibly elaborate on that? And do you think if that didn't happen, you could have took the race victory tonight?
Um, Obviously, when I went for that undercut, I ended up behind Scott, so he was obviously going to help Harry out to not let me buy easily. So I kind of assumed John Plough was going to do the same thing and then let me buy. Obviously, that wasn't the case. I'm sure he would have let me buy, but not at that position. So yeah, it's a bit annoying. It was only minor contact which caused that spin, but even without it, to be fair, I don't think I would have. Well, I wouldn't have won by penalties anyway. But on track, it's sort of a 50-50 because of the slipstream and the DRS. It's whoever's ahead on that last lap it can change so easily. So it's a bit annoying, but got up third, got the points. So we'll see what we can do next time.
Yeah, that's still a podium, and like I say, it's still good points. And going into next week, I'm sure you can easily build. I'll just quickly go back to Harry. It's a second place and a first place to start your season. Could that have gone any better for you? And do you believe now you've got a potential to consistently challenge with the likes of Gamer, Hercules, and John Polainen for the title this season?
Certainly hope so. Definitely putting in the practice to try and catch up to these guys. Obviously, last season was quite a shock when I was struggling to even get anywhere sort of near the podium at the start of the season. So, in comparison, I've been obviously a bit more practice, been a lot more better in qualifying. Obviously, Scott the toes have really helped that. Maybe we'll try it again in Spa, who knows? But I think as long as I get a good qualifying, I always feel I can fight for more wins, hopefully.
Yeah, and like I say, I said to Gareth in the stream, your qualifying is certainly one you've definitely improved on, especially after last season. And Gareth, after hearing that from those guys, and it's a shame really we couldn't get more of the drivers in the lobby with us this evening, because I'd love to hear some of the thoughts of, say, Scott and Sam, for example, who had that mega battle.
Yeah, absolutely. There was such a good battle going on for the likes of seventh down. It was so hard to catch it all on stream, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. And yeah, just like to reiterate what Sab said. Congratulations to Harry, to Hercules, and of course to Gamer for such a fun race to watch. The battle for the top three was hard to take your eyes off, but there was so much action going on track. So can't wait for next week when of course we head to Spa, it's gonna be a hell of a season if it carries on like this, because Harry and Game are now split at the top of the standings by 1 point. Harry takes the lead in the standings after 2 races, which is something I didn't think I'd be saying at the start of this season, but it's something that you know what, it's exciting when you've got so much talent in this league that potentially can go off and just have explosive races and races and races, and every single round you have no idea who's going to be at the front, but at the moment it's Gamer and Harry that seem to be the ones that have just got the edge on the rest of the field, but Hercules and the likes of Jumper Line, and they're not far behind, and you can expect them to get faster and faster. Like you said, Hercules said he hadn't had much practice for this evening, and God, we know what he's like when he's had some practice and when he gets to put the hours in behind the wheel, so we can expect to see the German get even faster in the coming races. But yeah, congratulations guys, thanks for joining us this evening. Feel free to head off if you've got somewhere else to be, because we're now unfortunately under lockdown in the UK, so you've got nowhere else to be. You gotta stay in your home, wash your hands, make sure you're keeping safe, everyone. But we hope with all this negativity that's going on around the world and in the media at the moment, that coming here and watching the races here on Monday night can make things a little bit better, a little bit more entertaining, and Sab and I can bring you some fun racing on Monday nights. And of course, apologies for the audio issues at the start of the stream, completely unforeseen. Never happened before, but hopefully won't happen again. But we will be back next Monday for the third round of the season in Belgium. And of course, that's us done for Mondays, but we will be back, of course, Monday tomorrow night, Realistic Performance League. That is streaming live on YouTube from 8 p.m. Commentators to be confirmed, might even be yours truly, joined with Sab joining up for that one. So yeah, keep your ears peeled and keep your eyes on the socials where it'll all be announced. And of course, that will be, yeah, so Realistic Performance League on Tuesday. Wednesday night is IRL F2 with Dan and James in the commentary box, and F3, our very own race winner Harry joins forces with Charlie as those pairing carry on their fantastic commentary of F3. So make sure you check that out all on the YouTube channel. Subscribe if you're not already. Like the video if you've enjoyed it this evening. And of course, go to the socials, Invictus RL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on YouTube, on Facebook and on Instagram, and of course invictusracingleague.com, where you can go and find out all the other information about the league tables, and of course get yourself on the grid for the next season on the game. And yeah, that's us done for this evening, Sab, and we wrap up the second round of the season, and Harry takes the lead in the championship. But
He certainly does. He certainly does, yeah. And I think going into next week, he's got to be one of the favourites. Looking at the way it's going, he's got good momentum right now, and it's only going to benefit the likes of me and you and everybody else watching to give us even better racing. Because so far, these first two races have been absolutely superb.
Yeah, they've been just. Yeah, so good. So we've had so much fun covering them, and I'm sure we will for the coming weeks and months for the rest of the season. Of course, that was only 2 races done, plenty more to go. But as I said, join us next week for the third round of the season in Belgium, and of course we'll be back streaming tomorrow night the Realistic Performance League. And of course, if you want to get involved, that you're not on a PS4, you can join in with the Xbox League streaming and racing on Twitch.tv on Sunday evenings at 9:30 p.m. So go to the website or get in touch with us on the socials where you can find out about joining the Xbox League. And of course, racing at the weekends makes it a little bit easier for all of you. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed it tonight. We'll be back next week. Have a great week. Keep safe and keep that smile on your face. And we'll be bringing you more entertainment as we go on. And yeah, we will see you very shortly. Have a great week, guys.